Hey guys, hello and welcome to another video today. So today we'll be seeing the how do we select the attributes in our web automation. How can we choose best attributes and best practices in our automation? You can treat this video as a mini RPA project where I'll be showing you an RPA challenge, which is a very famous website developer use to challenge perform this challenge. So I'll quickly show you what this challenge is all about. So you go in here and on this site, this is the RPA challenge where we have this Excel. Okay, if you click on download Excel, it will simply have these fields. So it has the first name, it has the last name, company, role in company, address, email, phone number, which you have to fill in these fields. Right, after filling each field you have to click submit. Right, when you click submit, the fields changes, the position of the field changes. So company is at first, and if you click submit again, it will come at fifth. So this is how these fields are getting changed. So this is what the RPA challenge look like. We'll have to fill the correct field always. The phone number should go in the phone number and email should go into the email. So this is an RPA challenge. We'll see how can we perform it, and we'll design an automation over it. So let me just quickly create a flow. So first what we have to do is, first we'll have to launch our browser. Right, so we'll quickly create a new subflow. So the best practice is to always call subflows on the main page. Okay, so launch RPA challenge. Okay, now you can choose any browser. I'll just choose Chrome for now. Launch new instance and I'll enter the URL. Let's maximize it. For now, just leave it. So launch new Chrome is launched. Right, after that, we have several elements which we have to fill. Now, after launch of a Chrome, we'll have to download the Excel and click on start. Right, and we'll have to also read this Excel file. Right, so the first element would be to download the Excel. Just click it. Okay, we'll also spy the start button. Okay, let's just click done, and here we have. So selecting attributes or selecting elements or selecting the correct selector in the spy mode is a bit difficult sometimes, but I'll explain what does these mean. So for body, uproot, div. So basically the page is designed in a HTML form, and in HTML we have a body, we have a root part, we have a div, we have tables, we have a paragraph. So all these are being highlighted here, right? So if you test it and give the browser title name, it will highlight the download Excel. So how do we select correct attributes? First, we should always untick the elements which you think are going to change. For example, in this, let me just, so in this attributes or selectors, we do not have any selector which is specific to this name download Excel. If there is any attribute which is specific to this, then we'll have to select that. For example, it has download files, right? If I select this and then let me select the browser tab from here, which element is selected, let me test it. Okay, it has highlighted this. So let's say that we have this unique attribute that this is not going to change. If this download Excel comes below instructions, right, then our selector will fail. This will fail because maybe the download file will come after this div, right, and not after this div, right? So this selector will fail if the position of our this tab got changed, right? So we'll have to select those attributes which, if the page change, then the selectors should not fail. So I'll just unselect these all because they are not very relevant and are our selector or our element could be selected without these elements. So let's just test this one and see. This has also been highlighted with this less number of attributes. So more you have the less attributes, more chances that it will fail less. Or even if that fails, you will have, more. You can change the attributes, or you can apply regex in this. So we'll talk about the regex, and we'll talk about the wildcards later on in this video. For now, just consider that taking less elements is a good practice for this. Right? Let's just click save, and let me just rename this to download Excel. Right? So always rename this so that you will have a better idea. This is the RPA challenge root. Right now, button. Let's just click this, and if you see here, it shows that okay, this is a button, and button text is start. Right? So let's say that your button from here comes in place of en. Right? Then this attribute will fail. So what I'll do is I'll just on the text editor, and I will just remove this. Right? And save it, and let's just test it. Okay, it is highlighted, so this, so it will not fail now. It will only fail if the text changed. Right? If in place of start it changes to other text, then only it will fail, and in that scenario you can just rename your attributes. Right? So let's just save it. So we have button start. Let's just rename it to button start. Okay, now we'll have to read the Excel, so let's create a new subflow. Let's rename it to read input file. Save, launch Excel, and let me get the path here. So I've given the path. Let's make it read only. Save, and then read from Excel worksheet. And let's just close it. Right. So we have launched the website, and we have also read the input file. Okay. Now, next thing is, once we read it, we have to input the data in. For phone number, we have to input phone number. For last name, we have to enter last name, and for email we have to enter the email. So for this, let's just look how these elements look. Let's just add an element, and if you see, this is the input text. Right? Let's just have this last name also, and let's just have this email. Right? And let's just click done. So here the first one was the phone number. Let's just rename it to phone number. Okay. And this one was last name, I guess. So let me just rename it to last name, and this one was email. So email is already there. Right? So for phone number, if you click, there are no more attributes in body, no attributes in root path or div, or you see there are no attributes. There is only one input, and which is this ID, and this, if you see in this value, this is going to change. So here, if I own the text editor, and if, let me open the notepad so that it will be visible. So if I just copy this and paste it in my notepad. Right? So for phone number, it is here, and for last name, the ID is this. Right? Now, if you see, not this clearly represents that this is for phone number or this is for last name. Right? The ID, this ID is going to change in future. So I'll show you the example how this is going to change. So for phone number, if I click test, right? So phone number, it highlighted correctly. Now let's just click submit, and here the phone number is coming at very last, and let me just highlight the phone number now. See, it failed. Let me just click on repair, and if I just highlight this, then you can see the change. The ID is being changed now, right? Now let me just click cancel. So this ID will is going to change for every page. So this is not relevant. Now this is relevant if you show in the elements. None of the elements shows that okay you can select this, even though it represents the last name. But under the attribute section, there is no element which can be selected to highlight it distinctly. Right? And in this, there are no attributes. There are no attributes. It's just the row. And in here also there are no attributes. So how can we select this? The challenge is how can we select this? Now let me just delete this one. Delete this one. Right now in the email, if you see there are so in the last, if you see the text is the email. So which is this label. Let me just delete this one and test. See, this is highlighting it distinctly. Now, if even though if I change the this to address, it now test it. See it highlighted address. So this is the attribute which can be changed to fill in the text field. Now, how the text field can be filled? Because we are highlighting this address and not this text box of address, right? So in order to do this, we have taken, let's say, address, right? So address, what will click on address, right? And then we can click tab. So it will come onto the address tab. Or if we want to fill the role in company, we'll click role in company and then we click tab, right? So this is how it will come to that text field, right? Let me just save it, edit, and we can just uh, we can spy the elements for last name, company name, address, first name, email, role and company, phone number uh, differently for each of these fields, or we can use just one attribute. In this I'll be using only the one attribute for all the fields. I'll make this email dynamic, right? Let me just rename it to dynamic input field, right? And let's just take a variable. Let's just make it for now. Let's make it blank. Okay, so we'll be passing this attribute in this. Let me just pass it into field, right? Let's just save it. And if I give the first name here, right, and let's just test it. See, the first name is highlighted, right? So this becomes our dynamic attribute. We'll just pass the column value, right? And it will highlight that field. Okay, now let's just call our subflow here to read the Excel file. We already have downloaded this, right? Then we will have our fields. Okay, so let us have the fields. Let's just take this column names, save. Let's see what this will give us. Okay, so this is giving our, we do not need this one for now. Let's just have these fields into a list, and this will give us the list. Let's run it again. So if you see, we have the column names in the list. Now, if you see, we have triple nine rows, although the data is blank. That's why it is taking so much time while reading the input file. Let us just fix this quickly. Let's just give the range value. Start column would be A, start row is 1, and our last column is G, and row is 11. Right, let's just advance first line Excel. Okay, let me just close this Excel, and let's just run it from here. See, now it has 10 rows, what we needed, 0 to 9. Now let's go on to the main. So we have read the input file, then we have the columns, right? So, and then we will have a loop. Okay, so this loop will be on each table of our input data, Excel data, right? And this will give us the for it, this will give us each row items. Okay, so for each row we have to fill, I have to click start, and we have to fill all these fields. So for all these fields, we'll also have to take a loop over the input fields, which is this, which will be our column name. See, okay, now we will have to click on that column name, right? So let's just take click, click, link. This is our dynamic input. Okay, see. So where will it click? Let's just place this here, and just take the column name. Okay, now let's see how this will be done. But before this, let me just attach our row. Okay, let me use the attach by title, and it will be an RPA challenge. Save. Okay, let's just run it from here, and let's see how it goes. Input field must be a data row. Okay, so Excel data columns. Save. Let me rename this to columns list. Save, and let's take the variable to column lists. Save. Okay, so let's just run it. It clicks first name, last name, company name, role and company, address, email. So it is clicking on each of the fields, right? So now after click, it should send a key, which is tab. So we'll use tab key here. The tab key, let's just give it 0 and save. Now after giving key, it should enter the value in the current item. right? So how do we do that is, let's just use keys again, right? So after tab, we have to write current item, and then we will have to write the, so for first name we have to write the syntax in this is, so for the first name we have to write it like this. So if I want to enter the first name, we have to enter it like this, right? The column name goes inside this, and the column name here is, I'll show you, the column name is into the input field. So I can give the input field here, right? Let's just click save, and let's see how it runs. It has written the first name, last name, company name, role and company, address, email, and phone number, right? So for each of the fields, it has filled all the fields, and then after each loop we have to click submit. So let's have a click action. So we have in this button on web page, and then let's just add an element for this. Let's have the submit button. Okay, let's just click save. Let's check the attributes for submit button, since we have to follow best attribute possible. Here we have so much div and body. Let's just omit them all, and let's just test it. Okay, fine. Let's add one more element for the start, right? So for start, I have done this twice. Let's just click done, and let me delete this one. So button start. Let's just edit this. We do not need this div and body. Let's just delete. If you want to test it, you can test it. See, start is also working. Now let's just click save, and we have, so we can move these all fields into a new subflow, right? So let's just call a subflow, fill entries, and here we can paste it. So main page we have the, let's just call our RPA, launch RPA challenge, right? Save. So it will first launch this, then we have to click start. We already have the input file, although you can try it on your own to, download the Excel file, right? We already have the Excel file. We mm, read the input file, right? After reading the input file, we will have to fill the entries, right? So let's just call fill entries, and the last thing we have to do is click on start button after reading input file or into the fill entries, or we can also have this on press button, and here we can have our button start, save, and let's just run it. So saved. Let's just run this video. Let me close it and run it from here. See, it has launched the website, right? It is reading the input file, then it has clicked on start, it has filled the first name, last name. So till the time this is doing, what I want you guys to do is, you can automate to download the Excel, right? There is a bit of glitch in the Excel file which you need to find and handle into your RPA code. I have not shown that into your video. You can just practice it, download Excel on every RPA challenge, and look what is the bug into the input file, what are the changes we need to do into the code, right? There are more challenges which you can see at the top, like the shortest path, or the how to read the invoices using the OCR engines. So we'll also see those videos, use how can we use OCR. So in this video we have seen how can we use the dynamic attributes in Power Automate, how can we edit selectors. We'll also see how can we use regex or wildcards once this is done. See, this has been completed and we have finished this in some milliseconds, right? So let me just click edit. Quickly. So this challenge is completed in 2 minutes. So if I go to the attributes and go to start, so this is the text editor. Okay, this save. Okay, so if you see here, we have these many attributes selected, and in order to click to select the wildcards, using the wildcards or using the variable, we can also choose a variable from here, right? And in order to select the wildcard, we can use the regex and give the wildcard, as you know, the question mark and the star. So this is how we can use wildcards also in the Power Automate. So this is all about the RPA challenge. Let me know in the comment section below how do you feel it. And in the next upcoming videos, we'll see how can we complete this RPA challenge in less than 2 minutes. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Till then, bye. Happy automation. See you in the next video.